I would have to see the whole
You don't know.
section.
You're literally the mayor of DC, and you don't know your own code of laws.
Well, I don't know
All right,
them
one thing we
verbatim.
noticed the DC code struggles to define is the term woman. So Mayor Bowser, what is a woman?
I'm a woman. Are you a woman?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
I'm a woman. You're looking at one.
Okay, good.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm your independent political analyst, no spin, no tribalism, just facts, context, and thoughtful commentary. Today, I want to break down a heated exchange in Congress between Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina and Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. The focus of this exchange was on issues of DI diversity, equity, and inclusion gender terminology in the D.C. Code, and even the question of reparations. Let's go through what happened, and then I'll give you my take as a neutral observer.
Is Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning. The government of the District of Columbia, under the leadership sitting in front of us today, has become a poster child for DEI and gender madness. This has led to government. Mr. Chairman, this is not a concert. This audience can just settle down. I want to reclaim my time.
Stop the clock, and the gentlelady's right. Under the rules of the House, the chairman is responsible for maintaining order and preserving decorum in the committee room. I expect audience members to be respectful of the committee, so
I'd like to reclaim my time, too,
you
Mr.
reclaim
Chairman.
it. Absolutely. Ms.
This has
Mace.
led to government-sanctioned racial discrimination and the erasure of women. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 provides Congress plenary authority over the District of Columbia. Using this authority today, I'll be introducing the No DEI in DC Act. This bill will rip the DEI and gender bender nonsense out of the DC government root and branch and restore common sense and equal treatment under the law. As the individuals charged with writing DC laws, signing DC laws, and enforcing DC's laws, we have some questions for you on the meanings of some of the curious terms we have found in the DC Code. My first question for Mayor Bowser, it's yes or no. The DC Code makes numerous references to, quote, structural or institutional racism. Do you believe the DC government is structurally or institutionally racist? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is DC government racist, institutionally racist? Yes or no? All right, you can't answer the question. So my next question for Mayor Bowser, since you're going to sit there and placate or just be quiet, in Section 7-1234.02 of DC Code, you use the phrase child welfare involved birthing people. Child welfare involved birthing people. Can you explain to me what this means?
I'm not that familiar with that part of the code.
Okay, and so you don't know. In Section 7-1234.02 of DC Code, you use the phrase justice involved incarcerated and homeless birthing people and their non-birthing partners. Can you explain to this committee what that means?
I would have to see
You
the
don't
whole
know.
section.
You're literally the mayor of DC, and you don't know your own code of laws.
Well, I don't know
All right,
them
one thing we
verbatim.
noticed the DC Code struggles to define is the term woman. So Mayor Bowser, what is a woman?
I'm a woman. Are you a woman?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
I'm a woman. You're looking at one.
Okay, good. You actually, in Section 3-703 of the DC Code, you use the phrase, the intersectionality of gender and race to create unique dynamics and effects. Can you explain what this means to the committee?
Where is that, ma'am?
Section 3-703 of the DC Code. Do you know what that means? No,
could
you
you give
don't
me
know
the
what that means.
title
So
of the-
Chapter 14D of the DC Code establishes
Mr.
the
Chairman,
commission.
I'm happy to answer questions.
Mr.
but
Chairman, I'm going to
can't-
reclaim my time. This is not her time, it's my time. You can be quiet as I ask you questions, and then you can
recognizes
answer them.
Ms.
And then
Mace.
you can
If
answer
you
them.
would give,
I'm not, Mr. Chairman, this is my time, not hers. I'd like to reclaim my time.
let's make good use of the time, Ms.
Chair
Mace.
I'm making very good
Chair
use of my
recognizes
time.
Ms.
There
Mace.
And you're
is-
Ms. Mace
making
has
my
the
point.
floor.
You're the mayor of DC, and you don't even know your own code of laws. What is a birthing person?
I would assume it's someone who gives birth.
All right. Why don't you use, are these women, are these moms? Do you think it's appropriate to call them birthing person? Can a man birth a person?
Well,
Be a
that's
birthing
what I
person?
would call it, but I don't write all the laws, and I'm not familiar with every
Can
section.
men get pregnant?
No.
Can men become women?
Can a man become a woman?
Yeah. Can a man become a
you're-
woman?
Miss
Yes
Mace,
or no? Can a man become a woman? Yes or no?
Miss Mace, I'm not here
Okay,
to
my
talk
next
about
question, Chapter 14D of the DC Code establishes the Commission on Reparations. and a reparations fund to provide eligible African Americans monetary reparations or other forms of redress. Is it the position of DC government benefits should be provided to individuals on the basis of race?
I believe that the legislation requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you, is it the position of the DC government that government benefits should be provided on the basis of race?
If you're
is the
referring to
question.
that legislation, I believe it requires a study.
Okay, I'm asking you a question. Do you believe that government benefits should be given out on the basis of race? That is the question. This is the third time I'm asking.
We have any number of benefits programs, and eligibility is established.
You're not answering any of these
per program.
questions. I'll give it to you. You're slick. In Section 2-1383 of the DC Code, you use the phrase social value of the LGBTQ community business economy to the district. Can you explain what this means to the committee?
It means that LGBT businesses provide economic benefit to the district's economy.
Do you think all businesses provide economic benefit to the DC economy?
They should, or they would be out of business.
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you. Chair.
Representative Mace opened her remarks with a strong critique of the D.C. government, saying it has become, in her words, a poster child for DEI and gender madness. She argued that this approach has led to government-sanctioned discrimination and confusion over basic terms like woman. She also announced that she intends to introduce legislation called the No DEI in D.C. Act, which would essentially strip DEI and gender-related language from the D.C. Code. So right from the start, you could tell this wasn't going to be a polite back and forth. It was designed as a sharp confrontation. The bulk of the exchange was Mace pressing Mayor Bowser on various terms in the D.C. Code. For example, she asked about language like child welfare involved birthing people and justice involved incarcerated and homeless birthing people. Bowser admitted she wasn't familiar with the exact sections Mace was referencing, which gave Mace the opportunity to say, essentially, you're the mayor and you don't know your own laws. Mace then pivoted to ask very pointed cultural questions. What is a woman? Can men get pregnant? Can a man become a woman? Bowser stuck to a very short answer at one point, saying, I'm a woman. You're looking at one. But she didn't go down the road of yes or no answers on the more controversial questions. Another key part of the questioning was about a section of the D.C. Code that establishes a reparations commission. Mace asked whether government benefits should ever be provided based on race. Bowser responded by clarifying that the legislation is for a study, not immediate payments. But Mace kept pushing, trying to get a direct yes or no. This back and forth highlighted a common theme we see in these hearings. Lawmakers often want binary answers to very complex issues, while officials testify and prefer to give more cautious or nuanced responses. Finally, Mace brought up language about the social value of the LGBTQ community business economy. Bowser explained that LGBTQ businesses provide economic benefit to the city. Mace replied by pointing out that all businesses provide economic benefit, suggesting the language was unnecessary. Now, here's where I step in as an analyst. This exchange is a good example of political theater. Representative Mace framed her questions in a way that put Bowser on the defensive and emphasized cultural flashpoints, gender identity, definitions of womanhood, race-based reparations. From a strategic standpoint, Mace achieved her goal. She got sound bites that resonate with her base. Phrases like you don't even know your own laws are designed to circulate online. For Bowser, it was a tougher spot. She clearly didn't want to be trapped into giving yes/no answers on highly charged social issues. But her lack of familiarity with certain code language and her reluctance to directly engage did give Mace opportunities to press harder. As a neutral observer, I think the real takeaway is that this wasn't about clarifying policy, it was about shaping narratives. On one side, Mace wants to show she's fighting against what she sees as ideological overreach in D.C. government. On the other side, Bowser wants to avoid stepping into rhetorical traps that could alienate her political allies or her constituents. At the end of the day, these kind of hearings tell us less about the laws themselves and more about the political divisions shaping the country. DEI, gender identity, reparations, these are not just policy debates. They're cultural battlefields. The challenge for citizens like us is to separate the political theater from the real policy implications. Does removing DEI language from the DC Code actually improve governance? Does establishing a reparations commission change people's lives? Or is it just symbolic? And are terms like birthing people inclusive progress or confusing jargon? Those are the real questions we need to wrestle with, beyond the viral clips and the heated exchanges. That's my breakdown of the Mace-Bowser exchange. What do you think? Was Representative Mace holding the mayor accountable, or was this more about scoring political points? And do you think Bowser should be more prepared with answers? Let me know in the comments. If you found this analysis helpful, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fact-based, no-spin political commentary.